Hi, Chad and Olive here, and we're going to talk to you today about this Power Max HD 828 OAE. Now we've already done a couple of videos that you've seen of us using this to move some good snow, somewhere between 10 and 18 inches of snow in different spots of the driveway and along the sidewalk. And I was really impressed with the performance. But we never had a chance before that to go over the features that we were looking forward to using in this snowblower. So let's talk a little bit about that. First of all, let's go over the model, the heavy duty 828. So what that means is that the opening where the snow is entering the snowblower is 28 inches wide. So there are other models, and I have the specs here. There's an 824, 826, the 828, a 928, a 1030, a 1232, and so on. And that those models, the last two numbers, are the designator of how wide this entrance of the blower is. So you can see here, we are at 28 inches wide for the entrance of the snowblower. So you can do a 28-inch swath at a time with this particular snowblower. You can also cut through snow up to 21 inches tall. So you've actually got a little bit more space than that, but I can tell you exactly why that is. If you take a look here on the side, and if you've watched our other videos, you know that I put these skids down the entire way, which is about 2 inches off of the ground. And the reason I did that was because in our gravel driveway, I didn't want to pick up the gravel and throw it. So I put the skids the whole way down, and that worked perfectly for going down our driveway. We did pick up some stones here and there, but nothing major and nothing that hurt the snowblower. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. But that additional 2 inches is why you're getting the additional cutting height of about 23 inches instead of 21. So if you would adjust these back down to do like a sidewalk or a blacktop driveway or a cement driveway, your height would be 21 inches.
What about if you randomly wanted to just plow the snow in the yard and make random
I would again
swipes back and forth just because it's fun?
I would again leave the skids down for that. That way you're just cutting off the top of the grass and not cutting the whole way down to the ground.
Okay, so random paths through the grass, keep it down.
Yes. Now, another note about those skids. They worked great in our gravel driveway, and if they were the whole way down, they would give you a much closer to the ground snow clearing. We had about 2 inches of snow left above where I was clearing. But the skids did leave some scratch marks on our sidewalk. So they do offer, from Toro, you can get plastic versions of these skids. If you're doing a blacktop driveway or cement that you don't want to scar up at all, you can change these metal skids out for plastic so you wouldn't leave any marks on the driveway.
You scratched up our sidewalk?
Just a tiny little bit. You wouldn't even know it if you weren't looking for it. The next thing I'd like to talk about is the electric start, which is really an awesome feature. And I wasn't sure how this would work because I saw it didn't have a battery, didn't quite understand how you could have electric start on something without a battery. But what you have here is the male end of a 110 volt plug. So all you do is take an extension cord and plug it in there. That gives you power to hit this button to start the snowblower. It's really amazing. No battery required. You don't have to worry about storing the battery, charging the battery. So you can see here I have a powered electric cord. It just plugs in like this. And that's all you need to do to use the electric start. Now I'm not going to start this now, I'll leave it powered off, but I'll just let you hear how that plug gives it power to turn over. So that's pretty exciting, and that makes it really easy to start. Now I did start it by pull starting it in the video. If you go back, you can watch those. And pull starting it wasn't hard either. You've got this really nice big handle. It's easy to pull. Obviously not as easy as just pressing the button. Couple more features I want to point out about this snowblower. This LED headlight. I wasn't sure how much light one single LED light would put out. I thought, how's it going to be enough to snowblow? But I was doing this at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. It was pitch black out. There wasn't even much of a moon lighting that night. But this light really illuminated the path for me. And I'll put a clip up above of how much it lit up in front of me. But very impressive how much this LED light really lights up in front of the snowblower.
When I watched your video, I couldn't figure out where all that light was coming from down the driveway.
It's really neat. I wish these lights were on other like lawn mowers and stuff. Okay, next thing I want to talk about is the controls of this machine when you're starting it. I'll give Toro a ton of credit for their illustrations. These are excellent. You can see here you've got the stop and the turtle, and then you've got the rabbit here, so that's indicating your throttle. All the way over to the right is fast, all the way to the left is slow and then off. And then really good starting instructions right here, all by illustration. Just telling you to put the key in, prime the primer bulb 3 times, put the choke all the way over to choke. Number 4 is showing pull. You could also just hit that electric start button. And then 5 is showing once it's running, you move the choke back over to this side. Works really good. The only negative that I would say about this whole area is this. Now, I wasn't sure because there's no illustration on here showing what this is or what it does. I actually thought maybe you turn this if you were choosing to do pull start versus electric start, but then once I consulted the manual, I saw this is the fuel shutoff, and that does make sense. I just wish there was some indicator here of which position is off and which position is on. As it sits right now, the fuel is on. If you're vertical, the fuel is off. But I wish there was a graphic here that illustrated that. Now you can see this is a Toro branded engine, 252 cc. I'm not sure what that is in horsepower, but I can tell you that it was plenty to go through the heavy, wet lake effect snow that we had that I was cutting through. And like I said, it averaged about 1 foot deep. There were some spots it was less than that. There were some spots that we were well over 1 foot, more like 1.5 feet when I was out at the end of the driveway. Again, no problems. This is an overhead valve engine, and it seems to lack no power at all. It's totally strong enough for this machine. Now, big surprise, let's talk a little bit about the tires on this, because you know I have a tire problem. These tires are a 16-inch, obviously aggressive tread tire. I don't know if you remember back to when people would have to put chains on the tires of their snowblower, but I've seen videos about it, and I've seen people doing it back when I was a kid. There's absolutely no need for chains on these tires. You can see these lugs are huge. They have the end cuts that give them traction if you're in, a little bit of ice or a lot of slop. So they do a great job of pulling through the snow. There was never a time when I used this in that deep snow that I felt like it was spinning or slipping. The other unique thing about this is that it does have automatic power steering. So as you're going along, if you need to turn one way or the other, it's still pulling itself and automatically turning with your direction. So you don't feel like one side's overspinning or underspinning or you're forcing it to go. It just automatically adjusts, and it's a really neat system. So let's talk about the controls a little bit, and I'll do a separate video on running this machine, but you can see the illustrations here are really good to tell you exactly what's happening. This left-hand side shows you the tire, and when you engage this handle grip, as shown here, that's what activates the drive of the snowblower, forward or reverse. This side handle, you can see the illustration shows that's your blower. So as soon as you engage this side, your blower starts. And a note, once you're driving, if you've got both of these down, it will hold the blower side down automatically for you. So then you can use your right hand to adjust the quick stick. Now the quick stick is really an awesome thing. I've never used a snowblower before, but I've seen people with the old style. I've seen people use the old style where there's a crank out here on the side. you're trying to run this thing, you're trying to crank it a million times one direction to twist left and right. The quick stick not only allows you to go that left and right adjustment, but it also allows you to adjust up and down the chute. So if you want to shoot higher, you pull back and it shoots higher. If you want to shoot lower, push forward, and then if you push to the left, it shoots to the left. If you swivel to the right, it shoots to the right. So you can see there's a lot of mobility here on that chute, all from the quick stick, and it's very easy to do because you're driving with this hand, your right hand, especially those of you that are right-handed like me, really easy to adjust while you're driving.
But is it as much fun as Miss Pac-Man?
I would say it's equal, but you don't need to put quarters in it. Good humor there, Jennifer. So let's talk about driving this machine. We showed how the handle engages the drive, but we'll talk about the speeds. And you do have multiple speeds here, both in forward and reverse. You can see that in reverse, you've got fast reverse or slower reverse, so 2 speeds reverse. And then you've got multiple speeds forward from slow, a little faster, a little faster, a little faster, until full speed. Now, I'll be honest, when I was in the driveway, I was probably at maximum here and at minimum here, because there were sometimes I was going really slow. Again, my first time using not only this snow blower, but any snow blower in our gravel driveway. So I wanted to make sure I knew exactly what I was doing.
So
But
what speed were you in when you made the random paths through
the grass, I was a little bit safer. I was probably here. Probably 3rd gear,
So slow enough that I could still chase you down
because there are 6 gears.
and tackle you if you tried doing that again.
Sure. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about on this snow blower is right here in the front of it, so I'll swivel it around. So I had quite a few comments after using this in the driveway about shear pins. And let me tell you, maybe one of the best things about this snow blower. You have a large 14-inch auger system, and this is a 2-stage snow blower, which means it's moving snow in the first stage, and then there's an impeller system that's throwing the snow up through the chute in the second stage. So there's 2 stages. That's what 2-stage means, 1 and 2. And what I was saying, one of the great things about this particular snowblower is there are no shear pins. So in the past, snowblowers of old, if you would have caught a rock that caught in this impeller and jammed it up, you would shear a pin. Then in the freezing cold, you'd have to take your gloves off your hands with a cold metal bolt and try to replace pins. You can see this is a really heavy-duty gearbox. Olive's looking at it. This is a really heavy-duty gearbox. It's designed to handle if there's an issue. So you're asking, then what happens? If you get something jammed in here and it can't turn, something's got to give. In this system, what's designed to give is the engine. So if you get a jam that it can't power through, it'll stall the engine out purposely. That way you're not breaking anything, the engine just shuts off, you clear the jam, and then you restart it. So much better than trying to stock and replace shear pins out while you're out doing the snow blowing. And that's thanks to this huge commercial gearbox.
They should make a push mower like that so that when I hit a rock or do something, it just automatically shuts it off and doesn't let me continue to drive over it.
Right. So people commented on that, and I wanted to make sure I pointed that out. There are no shear pins to worry about, and that's one of the things I love about this snowblower. That's one of the reasons I can use it in our gravel driveway. So a lot of people ask, how far will it throw? I did a video about that. You can check back for that. The paperwork says it'll throw 45 feet. I can tell you it's going to depend on the snow type, but I saw it throw over 45 feet. If you use the quick stick and you're adjusting it as high as possible and in the direction it shoots the furthest, it shoots over 45 feet. And you can see that in that video. I'll put a link up above here. Another question people ask is how heavy is it? It's all metal construction, no plastic. So you'd think it'd be heavy, but it's balanced really well and it's easy to move around. With the automatic steering system, there's no levers or anything to pull left or right, so it never feels like you're fighting it. The physical weight of this machine is 310 pounds, and like I said, that's an all metal chassis. It's got the engine, and it's really heavy duty. That's why heavy duty is in the name. But it doesn't feel like 300 pounds when you're out there moving it around. It's doing all the pulling, it's doing all the steering, and even in here when it's not running, you can see it's not a struggle to move this thing around or tilt it because it's balanced really well. So you'll see more videos of this when we get more snow. If you haven't watched the first 2 videos yet, make sure you go back and watch those about the snow with this snowblower. And then a little further back, you can see the video about assembly of this snowblower. And then in a coming video, you'll see 5 quick tips on how to snowblow for the first time using a snowblower. Thanks for joining us today. We'd appreciate it if you would hit that like button. If you're not already a subscriber, click subscribe, and then please comment below, share, and we'll see you the next time. Now you can see we're cutting through a lot of snow right here, making a deep channel. That's all from one night. Welcome to Northwest Pennsylvania.